Hey Cancer, how are you? This is Mary Ellen coming to you for your November 2020 tarot reading. A lot going on, as we all know. You have a very interesting reading coming forward, and if you are new, welcome. Lovely to have you here. And for all the returning subscribers, thanks for coming back to spend some more time. As you can tell, I am not at Moonrise Cottage. I am out and about, and I hope to be back. I think I'm going to be away for a couple of months, and then I'll be back near the solstice. Um, Cancer, you've been going through a very intense, particular type of self healing. My guides are calling it a ritual. So last month, you were in the process of doing the ghost dance in order to go into your heritage, your past, deep inside yourself, to free yourself from problems that may have been attached to your heritage, your lineage, your family, your culture, etc. And we all know things that happen to us or that are part of our cultural heritage. There's a time and place for that. And then there's a time when, as we become adults, some of those things don't serve us, including the survival mechanisms that we developed as children if we were in a difficult situation. So here in November, there an enormous amount of activity in the sky. For you, the first thing that came out, the sacrifice. It is about giving away or letting go that which no longer serves you, which is why I'm talking about this. So there's something that you are meant to be letting go of. And if you look deeply at this, you see that it's a butterfly. Look at that. And there's a lot of feathers. And your whole reading has to do with love and how you are able to, my guides are saying, manage it. I would say put yourself in a situation, develop the ability, thank you, Spirit, to actually love without a lot of tendrils and attachments from the past. Things that may have harmed you, things that may have stunted your growth, things that may have caused you not to be able to be fully present. That's what you're letting go of. And some of those things may be very precious to you. So just understand you are doing your best to take flight and fly home to yourself. And some of the things that have been precious to you, you need to let them go. And I think mostly we're not talking about items, we're not talking about possessions, we're talking about pieces of you that you just need to be finished with. So interestingly enough, from the journey of love, we have the heart of the moment. Numerologically, this is if you add it up, it's a 16. It adds up to a 7. And last couple months, we've been talking about you going deep into the other side, behind the veil, the underworld, in order to work on healing a tragedy or something that perhaps was threatening to happen that wasn't going to be good for you. So between that and the ghost dance, here you've arrived. Look at that. You've got some support around you. And the fire in your heart, the light, your light codes, if you will, in your heart, it's beginning to shine again. And you're beginning to be able to share that, share yourself, share your heart in a real way with other people that perhaps has not been available to you in a real way for a long time. Something's been standing in the way, and you've been working really hard to throw that off with all these trips back and forth to the mystical realm. So here from the Animal Medicine deck, we have bad. The numerology is a 6. So you have come a long way in your journey. You're past the midpoint now. This is literally about shamanic death and rebirth. So more traveling into the mystical realm. And the first card from the Celtic Wisdom Tarot deck, that's the Sacred Lovers. In this deck, it's called the Lover of Devotion. And this woman is in the same way divining her pathway. The little mythical story about this is she had several suitors and she had to choose who she was going to be with and which way she was going to go. To whom and to what am I going to give my devotion as the Lover of Devotion? So she also looks like she's in a bit of a trance. She's contacting the guides, the numinous, the mystical realm, in order to divine her future. That's what's happening. So that's the theme of the reading, along with the oracle cards that came out. This is the card that indicates your energy. So this is Seven of Swords. Something's not going well. So either you're involved in a relationship with someone who is cheating, or just not able, again, I think the phrase my guides are saying, the phrase we're resting on is not able to be present. So if you're lying, stealing, cheating, getting away with stuff, sneaking away in the night, sneaking around in the night, etc., sneaking around with a partner that your spouse doesn't know about, things like that. There's something within your life through a partner or within yourself that causes this behavior or causes you to be attracted to someone who will exhibit this behavior. It's not entirely clear. I think it could be either way. So as a general reading, trying to speak to the largest group of people as possible, the message is there's still this heart chakra wounding. And there's Arthur. He's protecting himself. He's feeling concerned. He wants it to stop. The sun's coming up. This is going to change. This is not going to stand. But Cancer, if you're the one who's doing this behavior, and there's more about this in the cards, it's a very interesting reading. It's time to just stop. My guys just said, just try to stop it. Just stop. It is not bringing you any joy. And if it's not bringing you any joy, then you could let it go. Hang on. See? So it's complex. And you'll have to determine for yourself what this is. Is this you, or is this the person that you're with? And in the end of that story, it was Arthur and his cousin. They're playing a game of strategy. So are you using strategy to manage your relationship, that person that you want to devote yourself to? Or are you actually able to be present and to show up? That's the strategy you should be using, not manipulation and cheating and lack of full truthfulness, which is the definition of not being able to show up. All right. So it might be that there's some wounds that you're carrying still that are causing an attraction of this kind of thing into your life if it's not you doing it. So it's time to really let it go. It seems to me that this is the moment when you can actually do that, because we have a full moon in Taurus that is carrying Uranus, the great awakener, the bringer of shock and awe, unanticipated gains and rewards, as well as things that may go wrong. And it is conjunct with Uranus in a moment when we have Mars in Aries retrograde into Scorpio, a fellow water sign, going into the deepest of the deep. That's why Bat is here. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, so you have an opportunity to do this now. In the end of the story, Arthur gets frustrated and he just smashes his hand on the chessboard and breaks all the pieces and gets up and walks away and says, I'm done. So some of you might be leaving a relationship. You might be leaving some aspect of yourself or your family lineage or your behavior inside of a relationship. You might be trying to repair these things that are linked to the issues that you've been trying to resolve for months now. So this is the moment. On the heels of that, the first card on the human realm. Look at that. 8 of Swords. It's pretty intense what's going on in this reading. So, the moment when you become awakened and you realize the only thing that's keeping you trapped with a blindfold on your eyes, 8 swords around you, and you're tied up and you can't move. It's the anxiety that's in your mind that's keeping you from moving. So I'm just kind of curious about this because we see this. There's something happening. And I think that for many, many of you, the universe is trying to release you, or telling you that you have the capacity to release yourself now, the way Arthur did by smashing on the chessboard and saying, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to behave in this way in order to make myself susceptible to this, to try to get the love that I want. For some of you, that's what it's about. For some of you, you might be the one who's doing the, unscrupulous stuff. So this is a Rip Van Winkle kind of story. This guy went into the dream time. Interesting spirit. He was there for, I don't know, 15 or 20 years or so, a long time. And while he was there, he found himself in a village somewhere. And he had secret, manipulative relations, so to speak, with many of the women in the village who didn't know what this person was doing. And then eventually, of course, he got found out. And what happened was they formed a circle around him and they whipped him to quote, wake him up. So if you're the person who's doing this, something's going to happen. Some revelation is going to come out because we have a full moon, which brings things to the surface. So just prepare yourself, because if you are lying, cheating, stealing, getting away with things, particularly in a love relationship, you know that that's just not sustainable in any way, because your partner will always feel it. They may not technically know, but they feel it and they understand, because you're not covering your tracks no matter what you think. Oh, the guides are really talking. So be prepared to let go of that which no longer serves you, so that you can have a life that really brings you the kind of love and partnership and devotion that you actually want, because you're a Cancer. So once you release yourself from that anxiety and you resolve whatever this is all about inside of you or coming from your partner, it's going to have a drastic effect right away. And look, that's the Queen of Cups sitting next to the fire. Mars in Aries retrograde into Scorpio. There she is. Triple spiral, by the way, is her throne. Birth, life, death, decay, rebirth, shamanic death and rebirth. Something's really happening. It's almost like whatever the wound is, if it's you and there's a wound, it's going to be lanced by the heat. It's going to be cauterized. And this woman is the Queen of Cups. I almost don't need to say everything that is true about her. In the traditional deck, we see her sitting on the edge of the ocean, and she's holding her cup, and she's gazing at the cup, and the top is on the cup, because she only takes the top off and shares the love energy when she knows it's the correct situation. So you're going to transition, I think, into a very deep place inside yourself, because that's the Death card, my loves. Again, look what's happening. So be prepared when all this Uranus energy comes forward. The retrograde is going to move into the sign of Libra. And so that's the moment when balance comes. So if you're finishing up this work that you've been doing, or you feel yourself on the cusp of an awakening or a discovery or breakthrough, go straight for it. Because you have all the shamanic assistance that you could possibly need for an entity, my guides are saying, that carries the love element. Okay? It's here for you if you want, if you're ready. And look at that, the Justice card. That's the renewer of devotion. That is the lover of devotion. And the only thing that is sitting between them is this. That's literally how it is on the table. So there's a massive transition going forward. This is about the sacred bowl of all healing. The awakening. Uranus in Taurus on a full moon conjunct Uranus. Buckle up. And if you, my guys are talking about spell casting. If you want to do some spell casting and work your magic and take full advantage of this, do it on the full moon. Okay? you then, once that is done and you have your awakening, the next thing that comes is balance. The Two of Swords. The dialogue with the sacred realm about this battle that's been going on inside of you and all around you, and that you pull into your life because of the way you've been wounded, which made the ghost dance necessary. Now you're going to join yourself with the sacred realm, eagle vision, the most powerful type of psychic vision. It's interesting, isn't it? And the ability through sonar, so to speak. And I think that means your inner knowing, your intuition, your ability to have clarity of thought. Thank you, Spirit, because you are no longer holding yourself hostage as a result of the wounds that you have suffered, whatever they may be. It's time to throw it off, and you will successfully do it. So when you have that meeting, you are dividing, and I would suggest that you do it on the moon if you can. It's going to be available to you all through the month of November, but the full moon on Halloween, when the veil is the thinnest, is a very important time for you. So we had this new moon in the sign of Libra. It was a tough one. It wasn't a sweet occurrence, because we are all being prepared to finish this battle with the beast. And here in the United States, Election Day is coming. We'll see. Do we need more lessons? Or are we done with it now? We gave it a twirl. How'd it go? For most of us, not so well. So whatever this process is about on a soul level, it was initiated by this new moon. You see the portal? If I can get the light. There we go. So something came through on the new moon. That's the veil stone. That's Morfessa, the guardian of the sacred places. Very interesting. So when you come into this awareness and acknowledgement of your connection with real the balance that spiritual awareness brings to your life, and you begin to be able to say, okay, you know what? Not working so much for me. I'm going to let this stuff go. I'm going to have to step out. I'm going to have to be really brave, because it's scary, because I've been relying on it my whole life. But really now I'm tired, because ooh, that was interesting. Because I just want the love. I just want the love. Now, how do I find my way? For most of you, there's a very sacred lover involved in this somehow. And so maybe you're preparing yourself in order to be available to your lover, or for love to be able to enter into your life, because you want that. Very interesting. So this is the Ace of Pentacles. It's about wealth and the ability to create and to have all your needs met. It's a prophecy about when you touch this stone, which is illuminated by the energy coming through the moon, you will begin to have your transformation, and you will experience spiritual activation and self-actualization, and it's on a soul level. So that would suggest that you came here. We all have many items on the list of why are we here. So for you, this is part of what's going on, because you showed up as a Cancer. Your whole life is about love and empathy and all the feelings and the abilities that you have. And because of those abilities, empaths are at very high risk to be taken advantage of by a narcissist or anybody who needs them as some kind of emotional supply. And I've seen a lot of people go through this. Is your partner with you because of the money? Are they with you because what the list could be a mile long? Or are you doing it? Are you taking advantage of someone because you felt that was going to help you in some way? You don't need that, Cancer. And my guys just said it's a terrible bastardization of the energy of Cancer to be behaving that way. So inside this ability that you innately have, when these issues come up, because of the patterns, the imprints that you receive from the relatives, from the ancestors, from your parents. Our parents, most of them, they do their best and they screw us up, and then we have to grow up and get our own therapy. It's just the way it is. So I think you can throw it off now, because when you come past this gateway of the Ace of Pentacles, if you see in the standard deck, the hand comes through from the universe, handing you the sacred pentacle, the initiation point of all things. And you're standing in the garden, and there's a pathway, and there's a gateway, and you walk through the archway out of the garden in order to plant the pentacle and let your life grow. So it's a lot of power of initiation. And the very next card, interestingly, is the foundation of battle. 6 of Swords. So you're going to transition from this 8 of Swords, where you're stuck, or you believe you're stuck, or you're so filled with anxiety you're afraid to move, to victory. A new foundation. This is about getting in the boat and pushing yourself off with your male energy to carry the sacred feminine to calmer waters. And she has a small child with her. So between the Ace of Pentacles and this idea about the lover of devotion and how you take the tender, soft, loving part of you and bring it into its healthy aspect and sail away to calmer waters with the seed that is going to bring forward all that you want. That's what the child represents. So here's the outcome. Ace of Cups, anybody? Cancer? Yeah, for you, it's going to happen. This is a massive breakthrough. Massive. My guides are saying, take the lessons. Let go of the anxiety. Stand fully in yourself. What is it that you want? You will be able to manifest it. The augury of art is the Ace of Cups. Semius, the goddess Semius, is chanting upon the cauldron of the great the great Dagda, in order to manifest her deepest desires. That's the outcome. You come into this ability when you come past the month of November. You see the shining city? That's her intention. It's a little bit of a reflection of 10 of Cups, right? Where you have it all. Or 10 of Pentacles. You have it all. You've got the Ace of Pentacles and the Ace of Cups. So this is what you are to devote yourself to for this full moon and the days that follow. And, in the election, just vote for love energy. Okay? You guys probably know my stripe is blue, and I would hope that we would vote, no matter what your stripe is, vote for that which will bring love energy. That is what we are meant to devote ourselves to, all of us. So I think the love that you're devoting yourself to is love of self. Some of you clearly are working with a partner. Be true to yourself. That's all that matters. If you're really true to yourself, all other decisions come from there, because your heart will command you and help you find your pathway forward. And that apparently has not been happening for you. So 2 runes came out. I don't know if I said it, but this is like the 4th time I've tried to do this reading. Every time I sat down to do it, some massive interruption happened. I had to stop. So I think that's indicative of the energy that you're dealing with. Perhaps some of you. It might be just coincidence, but this is over 3 days. I've been trying to get this reading out. That is the rune Berkana. It indicates growth over a period of time, often a period of 1 year. And you've been going through this for quite a while. So I think the new growth that's coming forward for you from November to the next November is going to be a period that's going to bring forward all of this. And then the other thing, 2 runes came out. That's the rune for partnership. Cancer, there's no reverse position. There's no 8 of Swords. There's none of that when you're in this state of being. Exalted love, the spiritual love of the universe that you carry as an element here upon the earth. You came through with it. So free yourself now. Let go of all the things, thank you, Spirit, that are not serving you, so that you can bring your devotion into alignment with your true self. Okay? And I'm going to read you a couple words out of the book about partnership because it's really, really important. And I was very grateful to see that come through. So just bear with me a moment. It's astounding to me that these came out in the way that they did. So this is the rune gable. Let me show it to you. See that? It's about partnership, which is a gift, of course. So drawing this rune is an indication that partnership in some form is at hand, and we see, sort of a triple confirmation, if you will. Sacred partners, quantum partners, lovers, exalted lovers. It's pretty astounding that it sits on the table in the way it does. In love relationships, in business matters, in partnering of every kind, you are put on notice not to collapse yourself into the union, because true partnership is achieved only by separate and whole beings who retain their separateness even as they unite. Remember to let the winds of heaven dance between you. At the same time, there is another aspect of partnership that you are being called to consider. Thank you, Spirit. The path of partnership can lead you to the realization of a still greater union. Obviously, it is union with yourself, the higher self, and union with the divine. And the ultimate gift of the rune gabo is the realization of the divine in all things, all relationships. The divine, the source energy, always enters into equal partnerships. The rune of partnerships has no reverse because it signifies the gift of freedom, from which flow all other gifts. Sage words, Cancer, for you. I think there's not much more I can add. Have a wonderful month. Please vote. Prepare yourself to take up the energy that is being offered to you, because it will change your life forever in these moments if you utilize the energy that's available given what's going on in the sky. All the links are below. My calendar for readings is closed for a while. If you want a reading, I'm available to do that, but I have to set it manually because my schedule changes every day now. Okay? Thanks, everybody. I really appreciate you spending some time with me, and I'm going to click a couple of buttons and say goodbye. Thank you.